Like the little groove, huh? Welcome.
Yes, I did. I just not noticed the dude had the police thing with the number on it like this on it.
Oh, you just noticed that?
I just noticed that, man. I just saw it. I was like, wow, they got something for everybody.
Yeah.
We didn't leave nobody out.
Welcome everybody to Man Talk Monday. We got my man, Mr. John Yogi. I am the thought engineer, and this is an open forum where we talk about some of everything. So you can catch all kinds of subject relationships. I mean, just current issues, the whole nine. But we talk about it from a man's perspective. Now, it says Man Talk Mondays, but this is an open forum for all people, boys, girls, men, everybody. So we are watching your comments. You can comment. You can actually participate in the conversation through the comments. So any comments you leave, your questions, we watching. So join in with us, chime in with us. We want to hear from you. All right. Tonight, asking the question, can America be saved? Can America be saved? Because you got to admit, stuff is pretty bad right now.
It's popping off. It's popping off, man.
It is pretty bad right now. For instance, racial tension is just a little high. Like granddaddy blood pressure, just a little high.
After he ate some pig feet.
With a whole bunch of salt.
What are you saying?
So, for instance, incident, everybody in the DFW area, I'm pretty sure you know, incident that happened at Friendship West yesterday. Pastor Freddie Haynes, there seemed to be a misunderstanding that I don't know if it was really a misunderstanding, but go ahead. You know,
I just want to know if you could explain to people kind of what happened. Set it up for everybody.
I'm trying to set it up. So, turns out somebody had asked to have a rally at Friendship West on their parking lot. And when it turns out, there was a whole bunch of people out there, and it was supposed to be a Back the Blue rally. So there were Confederate flags out there. There were Trump 2020 signs and the whole nine. And this was not what Friendship West was told originally.
What was they told originally?
They were told originally, I forgot what it was. It was some other thing that was supposed to be going on around Black Lives Matter. But needless to say, the pastor gets out there, he sees all of this, and he commences to shut it down.
And he is pissed.
To the highest points. Because he expressed, we don't back to the whole nine, and he actually expressed his frustration with the whole nine. But it's like a misunderstanding. Was this a misunderstanding, or was it a power move? Because, you just look at the whole climate of what's going on. It's like, I don't know how much I can believe that this was a misunderstanding, because anybody who's watched anything happening with Black Lives Matter, they know where Pastor Haynes stands on the matter. So to go in his backyard, on his front porch, to go to his front porch and to do something that just seems like do a power move like that. It says the tensions of racism in the area and not the whole country is extremely high right now.
Well, if I could just chime in,
Chris said there was no misunderstanding; it was intentional. I have to believe that. Go ahead, man.
Okay, well, and Trish, you are right, because I'm gonna give you my perspective. Now, the thought engineer gave you his perspective. I'm gonna give you the fool's perspective. Pastor Freddie Haynes was sitting at home by the pool with his feet up, had on some flip flops, and he had on a wife beater.
Not the wife.
Somebody called and say, Pastor, you ain't gonna never guess what happened. He say, what? He say, man, they're outside the church, man, with the Ku Klux Klan outside church. He say, who church? Who church? That my church? You lying to me? You lying to me? He said, "Oh, Pastor, I ain't lying. They outside your church. You lying to me? You lying to me?" So Pastor cussed all the way to the church.
He had to get out of the system.
He had to get it out before he got up because he know TV was waiting for him. He knew all that, so he cussed all the way to the church. And then when he got there, he was cussed out. Because if you notice, when he got there, he was breathing hard. So he had used all the cuss words he could get between his car and the church.
Yeah.
And this will get me. So when he get there, they say he walked through and he got this look on his face like, no, y'all didn't. No, y'all didn't. No, y'all didn't come in the backyard of the dude who got the Black Lives Matter thing up here.
Big banner, just the whole side of the building. So yeah.
It's something to be said about when somebody comes to your backyard. You know how many churches it is in Dallas? Literally, it is 39 on one corner.
Right.
It's 39 on one corner, and you pick this particular church of all churches. And Pastor Hayes been hollering Black Lives Matter since 76. So I know they knew who he was, because he was in there. That's where he's always, that's where his ministry has been for the most part, is talking about black people. Black people need to do this, black people need to do that. That's where he been. So to come to his block, to me, it was like, I bet you won't step over this line with that foolishness. Right. And somebody said, if we get a bunch of us together, we can do it. Because you notice they don't come one or two. They go deep.
No, yeah, man. Yeah. Selena said it was a caravan with the black funeral homes in DFW from a church in Fort Worth to Friendship West for BLM. So that's what it was supposed to have been. A caravan, black funeral homes were having a caravan going from Fort Worth to Friendship West. But it's supposed to be a Black Lives Matter deal. But all of this transpired, which Selena said the KKK hijacked it.
I'm just trying to figure out, wait. Okay, so it's supposed to be a black funeral home. What's the name of the funeral home? I'm just curious. What was the name of it? Because you got to give me the name of the funeral home.
It was a group of them. It wasn't just one. I think it was a group of them got together. Black funeral homeowners got together and they did this. And that's what it was supposed to be. And then here this rally pops out.
My problem is I don't see black funeral home people getting together on Sunday unless they got a body in the back of the truck. You forget that. If they ain't stopping out by the funeral home, put somebody in the ground, you ain't getting them. Somebody lying now. Somebody lying.
But just to think about people making a move like that, it's like, where are we as a country that anybody would even think that this is okay to make this type of move? What are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to provoke people into bait people into a race war? I mean, what exactly is going on that people would even get in their mind this to move? Because it's like you really trying to start something.
Well, I'm just wondering, did they see the cars on the highway and say, we want to be a part of that? Because somewhere they had to find out about it. They had to find out about it so that they could get together. Because to my understanding, now there were police escorts and all this stuff involved in it. Because there was another shop over by South Oak Cliff where the police were blocking the street off. So there were police involved and everything. So somebody somewhere got together and said, hey, this is how we're going to do it. Now, I don't know a lot because Derek is a thought engineer. I put no thought into it, but I'm going to say this. We can't get police. We barely can get police when it is a funeral. So you mean to tell me, because they were blocking off streets and everything for this, right? Which leads me to believe this was more about them than it was about us.
Now, according to, if I'm not mistaken, I hadn't really dove into it, but the chief of police, Renee Hall, was contacted, and according to her, there was nothing set up with Dallas police where they're supposed to be escorting anybody. So it begs the reason, how is it that the police were even there doing any kind of escorting work to begin with?
Well, you know it's easy. If you in the KKK, that's the police force, most of them. You mean tell me you don't know you? Hey man, we need a cop. Who free? I'm free. I live right around the corner. I can be there. It's all about who know who. You can't tell me. You can't tell me that we don't have high people in the Ku Klux Klan that's on the police force. You can't tell me. I believe all of them got it. I don't believe it's just Dallas. I believe all of them have people that are in the Ku Klux Klan, because you could tell by the way they deal with black people. That's taught. And they're not teaching that in the academy.
Right.
So there has to be something that's talked about outside of the academy.
And I've often said, whatever type of person you have outside the uniform, when you put them in the uniform, whatever mindset they have, you've now given them a whole lot of license to do whatever thing is in their mind. And what kind of country do we have where an organization that is clearly a hate organization has clear reign in law enforcement in this country? What is wrong with the country that you have this type of stuff even going on?
But you got the people that are making laws, though. It's the people that are making laws. The Ku Klux Klan has been able to get away with stuff for years because of who's involved in it and who they know. And you know, we say often, man, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I believe this. Listen, if the Black Panthers can be called a terrorist group, and all they was doing was feeding the hungry, teaching people how to lead, teaching people how to read, doing all kind of stuff to make the black community better, and they called them a terrorist group. And you mean to tell me the Ku Klux Klan was kidnapping folk, they're hanging folk, they're burning crosses, they destroying, if nothing else, they destroying property. If nothing else, we're not going to even bring up they killing people. We're not even talking about that. And they hadn't been called a terrorist group. So if they hadn't, they got to be in with the lawmakers. They got to be in with the people that say, "Oh, we're not going to do that to them. We're not going to do that to them because they us."
Lee Armstrong said it was a provocative move for sure, and he's absolutely right. But my thing is, where is this leading? Because if they did it this time, if this happened this time, this is not the last time. But where is it leading? Are we as America slipping off into something that's inevitable? Are we slipping off into something that's just bound to happen?
If you go to the hood where they don't get no blacker than they do in the hood, everything about them say black in the hood. You go to those hoods where the pastors, they marching, where the people know rights, where the educated, and you go over there to the hood where police differently, where the people are killed, where they do all kind of crazy stuff, and you go over there with this. Just the pure boldness of it leads me to believe that there's something bigger coming down.
Yeah,
there's something. There has to be. There has to be, because you could have went anywhere on the other side of 635 and they would have let you been over there.
Yeah. They
wouldn't have said nothing about you being over there. But you go down there, there has to be more. There has to be more.
Trish said they said the police that were present were non-uniformed officers. My thing is, you need to be called into the office on Monday. You need to be called into the office, and we need your badge and your gun. If you do stuff like this, you can't police resources, city resources to do stuff like that that's unsanctioned.
But when you ask about who was there, I'm gonna be like this on
you. Right. Hey, there's enough cameras out there to figure out who was there. That's
true. That's true.
People don't miss anything these days. Everything's
right.
So Lee Armstrong said they want a race war. But my thing is, how does that benefit America? Because everybody has their opinion as to what America needs. We got the whole "Make America Great Again," and to even say again signifies that at some point it was great, which actually it wasn't. Because if everybody can't make that statement, then how can you actually say it. If one people group are the only people that can make that statement, then it's not a true statement.
Well, but now you gotta understand this thing. If I can, right now, I have the world's attention more so on what's going on in race relations in our country. But if I can do something to make you slip up, to show the world why I'm doing you like I'm doing you, then perhaps that's what this is based. That's what the motivation is. If I can catch you, if I can go to the hood and catch you slipping, and you to act like the people that we've been saying you are, and I can show the world, now all the kneeling don't mean as much. Now all of the race relation stuff don't mean as much. Because you could turn and say, see, I told you this is what I've been telling you about them. Listen, don't be coy, don't be dumb and stupid about this, guys.
Yeah.
This is a trick of the enemy. They're gonna come to your backyard because they're trying to get you to act a fool. Right now, if for somebody to come to your doorstep and to do this at your doorstep, they trying to get you to act a fool. It cannot be more obvious than that. Because if they get us to act a fool, like they say, they can say, see, I told you. I told you.
So at least the question, what does America need to be saved from? And I think depending on who you're talking to, you probably get a whole bunch of different perspectives on this. So what does America need to be saved from?
America needs to be saved from itself. See, I was thinking about this the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, white America, if you white in America right now, so let's talk to the white people. So all white people. Right now, if you sitting home and you just happen to be flying by my Facebook page and you think they talking about them white people again. Well, no, I'm not. I just want to ask you a question. Did you think race relations between blacks and whites were good? You thought, I'm pretty sure you thought, hey man, everybody getting along. Hey, we all singing, we dancing, everything is good. Well, that's because you have decided that you were going to you were going to look over some things and not really think about it. Because sometimes people do stuff in your face, and you'll get home and you'll say, wait a minute, did they didn't do that. Yeah. Because you hear about stuff, right. And you eventually, listen, man, people don't have to hide racism no more. They do it in your face. And everybody sees it.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, America needs to be saved from itself because we've never been the United States. We've never been united. Never. They just put that name on there. They just put that name. We've always been the divided states of America because hate runs deep. Yep. Hate runs deep, and now I'm beginning to believe now that hate is not running just from them, but it's coming from us as well.
But you propped up a whole system, an economic system. You propped it up on hate because hate was the only thing that would rob us of our humanity enough to let the things that were happening seem okay. Because if we were fully human, there is no way you could possibly treat a human being that bad. So how do you? I hate them as long as I can make them subpar, like I'm doing the world a favor by doing this to them. Then people be like, oh, okay. Same thing happened with the Jews. The propaganda they put out about Jewish people was they're monsters. They're out to get you. If you let them anywhere near you, they're gonna take advantage of you. They're gonna try to kill you. They're gonna try to rob from you and all this kind of stuff. And so once the Nazis moved in, people already felt some type of way. So the things they were doing, they were like, oh, that's probably a good thing they're doing.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go. You want to talk about Trish? You want to do Trish? Go ahead.
Yeah, Trish says, I don't think there's anything bigger. I think it's simply what it is: intimidation by presence. The message: you have a place, position in this world that we allow you
to live in.
And I get what she's saying because, like you said, I don't think people say, well, it's not that bad as long as people are in their place. And it's almost as if you're getting beside yourself too much. I have to do something to put you back in check. when you look at, we watched the video that's on YouTube. I can't think of the name of it, but a lot of the Confederate monuments that were put up, they weren't put up a long time ago. These things were put up recently. These like in the 1970s. So right after the civil rights movement, a lot of these monuments were put up. So it's almost as if we got to remind you of who's running things and like a keep you in your place type situation. But there is only so much land in America, and there's going to be a fight for it because people are not just going to accept their place anymore. If that's the message you're trying to send, that's not what people are going to get out of this whole thing. So we got to understand what's really happening. I guess we're going to get John back in a minute. He kind of froze on us. Come on back, man. Come on back. But so just looking at the situation, I mean, we got to figure out what's going on. We have to figure out what's going on. So what does America need to be saved from? Here's the thing that hate is an idea. That's exactly what it is. Hate is an idea. And you can't kill an idea. You can only override it with a better idea. So where is this idea going to come from? We need a better idea. Who's going to actually put the better idea out there? Some people don't even have the idea that we can live, this country can be better with everybody in it. So that idea alone is throwing people off. Yeah, we got you back. There he is. He's back. Okay. But you caught what I was saying when we talk about what America needs to be saved from. Hate is an idea. The idea that one race of people is inferior to another race, that's an idea. And you can't kill ideas by killing people. You can only kill ideas with a better idea.
Yeah, but there has to be some buy-in on it, though, right?
Yeah, there absolutely has to be buy-in.
Do you think we have enough people to buy in on whatever? For example, it's going to take everybody to change in order to get past this. It's going to take, because truth of the matter is, it's going to take more white America to get sick and tired of this than it's going to take for us to be sick and tired of it. Because most of them have positions of authority. They have positions to where they can get things to change. But it's going to take more of them than it is us, I believe.
One thing I've noticed, corporate America, the hot button item now is diversity and inclusion. That's the thing. Everybody is pushing for it. School systems, corporations, everybody wants diversity and inclusion. And it's to the point where these positions, they want to see more diversity in these high positions.
That's what they're saying.
Now, some people are putting incentive behind it. Because I was for my company, I was in a meeting once up in Milwaukee at the head office, and it was the African American resource network that's a part of our company. And the guy that was speaking, he told, now you got VPs, you got high up people. He said, if you're serious about diversity, you need to put money behind it. And he named off some companies that had started putting money behind diversity. So he said, if you're serious, you got to prove you're serious by putting money behind it. But that's what companies are starting to do now. They're starting to put money behind diversity. But the thing is, in order to become diverse, that means people that hold certain positions, some movement has to happen. So
where they moving to?
But what I'm saying, some things are switching hands. I think people are starting to understand, as long as you have one mindset at a level, nothing grows. Take, for instance, we're going to talk about this next week, the school system. This idea that kids have to be in a classroom to learn. That's a false idea. It's just the people who are calling the shots can't see past that. And so they hold everything from growing because you can't grow beyond what their understanding is.
Well, I agree with you, but I think most companies, like the NBA saying we want to change, we want to help. Hey guys, listen, we want you to do more than just dribble that basketball. LeBron, we hear you. So if you hear us, we need more owners and we need more coaches. And I'll even take more referees. So if you hear me now, because it's one thing to say it.
NBA is a lot further along than the NFL, though.
Okay, but we only got one black owner.
Just one?
Michael Jordan.
What about Jay-Z, Usher?
No. They probably own a 10th or something like that of teams, but that wouldn't be considered an owner. That'd be considered part of a group, part of a small percentage of the group. And I'm not sure those guys even still own parts of those teams, which they may, but But as far as black, okay, how about this? When the Clippers owners called them, that ninja word, that ninja, he called players ninjas.
Yeah.
And rather than saying, okay, we're gonna fix y'all, we're gonna get a black owner, this one got another white guy. If he can afford the team, get the team. But it's one thing that you say you with me. I need you to show me that you with me. Let's do something.
Yeah. So Selena said DISD is putting money behind it. They have a new initiative to bring in African American males.
Well, what they gonna do up there? You ain't finna get nobody to go up to them schools. You finna get to go up to them schools. Girl, they can't pay. They don't pay enough money.
And you're right. There is some sacrifice that has to be made.
You think? Just a little one?
But even that, how much sacrifice are Americans willing to make this thing better? Well, it's going to take some give along with some take in order for things to get better.
And that's true because Selena brought up the DISD. And if we start with the education system, and mainly the Dallas education system, because that's basically what the hood is considered. If we can make the education system, we have to get it better there first. We have to teach our kids on a level that the suburban kids are being taught on. We have to expect more from our schools, from our district. We have to, because I simply don't believe that because they're in the hood, they're not expected to do as well because of where the kids come from, where they live, all the stuff that they're being subject to. We have to begin to change those things, man.
Well, I think, and there are people doing research now. They're looking at it now. You're expecting them to do a certain amount of work when you haven't considered what they've gone through just to be able to sit in the class. The challenges they face just from the time they woke up to the time they get to school, they've had bad things happen. And then they have to sit there and try to learn. But people are looking into it now.
So, but now, are they looking at what good is looking into it if they're not going to do anything to change it? Now, because we're asking, what does America need to be saved from? I would say America needs to be saved from itself. Now, because to me, it seems it would appear that we're setting our youth up to fail. It would appear that all the stuff that they're going through in the hood, it just, to me, if you got to fight, scratch, kick, bite, and pinch real hard just to get to the school, man, I'm tired when I get there. I gotta take a nap. I'm tired. We have to, as Americans, we have to create a better environment for our kids to learn because, man, we say this all the time, but the children are our future. And if that's the case, how many generations before we're going to be able to get this right? Because there's a pretty good chance we're not going to get this right in our lifetime. There's a pretty good chance we won't get to see it.
You're absolutely right. Because I don't see a resolution coming during our lifetime. I really don't. And I see things actually probably getting worse before they get better. And we would hate for things to get worse, but all the signs are pointing to there is no compromise anybody's willing to make. Everybody is looking for to keep things the way they are, and you got another force that's trying to change things. And those are opposing forces. And one of them has to give in to the other one at some point.
Well, just like we're being at church, man, I think there's no bigger opposition for change than tradition. I think there's no greater force, and people do stuff and their kids do stuff, and they aunts and uncles and their grandparents, they do what they've done and they don't even really understand why they're doing it. I think until you can kill the mindset that's been passed down through generations. And first of all, let me just say this, man. You're not only killing the mindset, you may be killing a mindset, but you're also killing my advantage. Now, I want you to be able to do some of the things that I do, but do I have to give up my advantage too, though? Yeah. I mean, there is some things that come with me being white, though. I got to get those up too. I mean, if I'm looking at a resume and I go for an interview, because it's an awful white people tend to look out for each other a lot more than black people look out for each other. Right. I got to get up too. I got to be willing as a white American to give up all of my rights, all of my privileges, so that you can have the same privileges I can. Now, you hear me? I got to be willing to give up all of my privileges so that you can have, so that because if I give them up, they got to go to you. But you talking about, I don't think nobody will be willing to do. How many people are going to be willing to do that, D? Because we're not taught to be selfless. That's selfless.
That's definitely not taught in this country.
They don't do that at church.
They definitely don't. But
white people have church together, and we have church together.
Yeah, like you said, Dr. King said, Sunday morning is the most segregated time in America, and it's not changing. It's not. Yeah, you got a few large churches that have a mix, but on an overall basis, the church is not doing anything to combat the ideas. It's not doing. I'm not doing enough. So who's going to do the saving? Who's the people that's going to do the saving? What you got?
I still say, man. I still say it's going to take us to save each other. I think it's going to take everybody. I think it's going to take a collective effort from everybody to get things to change, man. I think if we get 75, 80%, I don't think that's enough.
But it's difficult because we don't want to talk. Nobody wants to talk. Everybody wants to shut up the next group of people. The church wants to shut up the LGBT wants to shut up the church. Blacks want to shut up the whites. Whites want to shut up the blacks. It's just nobody wants to sit and hear what everybody is going through, what everybody's dealing with, and where they're coming from, so we can talk about it and see,
what. Can I explain to you why?
Break it down.
I have little sympathy for I can't identify with your struggle. Most of the people that want the other ones to be quiet can't identify with the struggle that they're going to. And because I cannot relate to it, it's hard for me to be sympathetic to you in that.
Yeah.
If I am a bully and I beat up on folk every day, and this kid comes to me and say, man, you just don't know how I feel to get beat up every day. And I'm going to say, you know what? You sure right. Give me your lunch money. Because I cannot identify. And that's why nobody listens to nobody. Nobody want to hear nobody whining, especially when I can't really deal with you on that level, man. You can listen. I can talk to a white person about slavery all day. He don't understand. I can talk to him about the disadvantages I have, how hard I got to work for a job, and I'll hit the police stuff. Like this is crazy thing. Most white people think, because I got a lot of white friends. I got like 2 or 3. Most people think I really don't think they believe in police brutality. I think they can't relate. They cannot see that. They can't relate to it. You can show them video after video, and what they're gonna say is, "Oh, that's an isolated incident." Because I think they, and that's the problem with trying to get people to listen to one another. We can't relate to each other like that, man.
Trish says, "Save yourselves." You almost, and it's bad to the point where you almost have to do that, because you talk about not believing in police brutality, but the same, and it's not even just white people. I've heard black people. They see a video and they're looking for justification. They're looking for something to pin it on to say, "Oh, that's why he got what he got." And it's like, you don't believe that was a little excessive. And we rationalize things away in our minds so much that nobody wants to see the heart. And the problem is social media has upped the game. Social media, everything out there. And you said in the conversation earlier, how bad is it when other countries are looking at America like, won't y'all stop treating these people like this?
Hey guys, we need your comments. Talk to us. Let us know what y'all thinking about. I know y'all got an opinion about it. Rather than sitting around your living room talking to your husband, wife, y'all tune in and let us talk about it with you, because we want to talk about it. And then you're absolutely right. How bad do I have to be kicking my dog every day from somebody in the other city to hear about it and say, "You know what, man? Don't you kick that dog no more. Don't you kick that." You know how bad I gotta be kicking him. I got to be doing him pretty bad. I just think, man, we're not taught about community and being selfless. Yeah. Because it's all about what can I do to bring happiness to somebody else.
Right.
We're not taught that, man. And you know, most of the time we don't try to get to understand each other to know what's going on with other people. To be honest, we don't try. You know, we standoffish, they standoffish. They thinking one thing, because I refuse to believe that most white people are bad people or racist people. Now, do I think they look the other way sometime and ignore it? Of course I do. Yeah, you ain't gonna get me to say no.
We do that.
No, I don't do that.
No snitching.
Hey, listen, woo.
We do that.
That's in the hood.
But that's what I'm saying. Same thing though. It's the same thing. There's an allegiance based on color that I can't sell out. You know, my brother, even if this dude is doing me all kinds of bad, I still can't, you know.
Just like when OJ got off, we celebrate, and I know this is about my black people, brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
We celebrate black people getting out just because we've been tired, we've been down for so long. We just we'll take victory even though we know it's by default.
Right.
Even if he got the bloody knife in his back pocket with blood all over, we say, can he just get off this time? Can he get off, y'all? Please, can he get off? And listen, man, I do. I get it. But in order for this thing, just like what happened to Friendship West, in order for this thing to turn around like we wanted to, we all have to become better people, man. We got to be better. We all have to be better because we all play a part in it. I can't leave it to Derek and Selena to change things for me. I can't leave it for just white America, although white America gonna play a big part of it. But I can't just leave it to them. I have to do my part. I have to act like I got some sense. So because a lot of times when we do what people been saying we're gonna do, it don't. Come on, y'all. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Everybody, tell me what you think. Who's gonna do the saving for this country? I think everybody kind of has their own savior in mind. But who do you think should be responsible? Who should be responsible for making this thing better? For getting this thing back on the right track?
You don't think the people that we put in office should be responsible? You know, people that have because because they are basically kind of responsible for us. You don't think it's their responsibility to kind of make things better for the country?
It is, but they don't treat the office like a responsibility. It's just another job. You got people, and I saw a video of this young man sat before Congress, and he said, you know, we really need to push for term limitations for people that serve in Congress and Senate, because it hurts us to have somebody in there 20, 30 years and they just hold up stuff from getting better.
Boy, ain't nothing like that racism right there, boy. Woo-hoo-hoo. That 20, 30-year racism, that's that. That's that racism.
How can you put policies in place? Selena said, I think we must police ourselves and hold each other accountable. Whenever there is a plan and unity in implementing the plan, then salvation will come. My only thought about that is the attempts that we've made historically that people have just found out about, those they got burned down. They got burned down. So we need unity. We need I don't think we even know what unity looks like. We say it as an idea, but what does it look like?
Let me ask you something. So would you be willing to die for the change?
I think I have to.
No, I know you have to, but you didn't answer the question. Would you be willing to die? Because this is what I'm saying is, I will be ready to. I can't say it. If I say that, they're gonna put me back on my meds, so I can't say that. But I just believe this. I think it's gonna take something. You're gonna have to be willing to give of yourself in order to get that back. And I think it may be more. It may be. Go ahead, Selena.
Selena said, if a man is not willing to die for a cause, that man is not fit to live.
Well, can a man be willing to kill for a cause? Why I got to be always dying?
What Selena said, that's what Martin said. Malcolm said the other thing. Malcolm said you better be willing to kill for a cause.
Why I got to be willing? Because if you're willing to die for it, they just willing to kill you for it.
Well,
but if you
because willing to die, death is the highest threat anybody can hold over you. So that means I'm robbing you of all your power over me. If I'm not afraid to die, you can't do nothing. Remember old dog?
Yeah.
Remember what they said about old dog was so dangerous? So he didn't care about it. He didn't care. So we need people who are considering other people above themselves.
But if I'm willing to kill you, now that's on. Now you worried about that, and you worried about me. See, and let me say this about death and killing and being killed and all that. Let me just say this. I don't mind dying for a cause, because I think we all have to die for something. But I'm not. We have to. I'm not just going to lay down my life for you to take it. Because for what? For what? For things to be because we got the list goes on down the street for people who have laid down their lives, and now we're marching for them. Now we're trying to make a change. Because they're gonna show up them back on my meds when I keep saying this. I know they are. I know they're looking like, do we need to up his dosage? Because I'm just simply saying, man. I'm just simply saying we got to be willing to do come out of our comfort zones in order to get some things that we want to get, in order to get places that we haven't been before. It's going to take all of us, man. Yeah. What radical? Something radical had to happen for us to get to the place we are now. And you think it's not going to take something just as radical to get us on over to the other side? Because we're going to stay here for a minute. I ain't in here until something else happens. Why does that something else have to have more people to die, more black people to die at the hands of police, at the hands of random folk who chasing the man down, killing him? Why do more people? Why do more of us have to die in order for that to happen? I don't understand. Talk to me off the ledge.
No, I get what you're saying. There's a difference in dying just to exist, but and the difference in dying to make things better. And I think our deaths are coming in just from existence now. It's not coming from, I haven't seen or heard of anybody like Medgar Evers or Dr. King. They died in an effort to push things forward. You got people being killed randomly now, and it's just a state of this is what they're doing. And I think I think it's going to get back there. It hasn't yet. But you're gonna have people who lay their life on the line for the cause. Okay. Trish said, okay, I'll talk. I personally don't think America needs to be saved. What's going on in America, racism, isn't exclusive to the US. What I think will happen to better race relations is honestly a generational shift. Old ways, habits, thinking will eventually dissipate, and hopefully the younger generation present today will change how others operate in America later. Are we focusing on the next generation enough to really do it? And I think everybody's after the next generation. Everybody who's smart, they're always after the next generation. There's no mistaking the things that are taught in schools are taught the way they're taught because people are after the next generation. History, as we have taught it, has propped up the idea of racism because African Americans have never been able to see themselves in American history to see the value and see the contribution. And even white people haven't seen the value and contribution that blacks have made in American history because it's spotty when we're all through there. And I think a lot of things need to happen, but the next generation, but in order for that to happen, we got to change the textbooks.
Well, I think that America may not be the only one where racism goes on, boy, but they may not be declined, but they show the president of it, boy. Listen, I have been a lot of places. When I was in Japan, they didn't really like black people. They didn't know why. They just knew they didn't like black people. I have been all over the country, and I have not seen racism like what goes on in the U.S. Now, I'm not saying it's exclusive to U.S., but boy, that racism is in the U.S.
Selena said the problem is those racist individuals are teaching that to their children and their grandchildren. Now, here's the thing. I don't know how much house to house black people are teaching their kids value. Because I think white people teach their kids, oh, you better than. I know Jewish people teach their kids, you're supposed to be at the top. You're supposed to be. I don't know how much we as collective, as community are doing this. Trish says she is. Trish says she's teaching it. But
I need to take my kids over Trish's house.
Right, we have to take everybody over Trish's house. But thinking about community, it's not community until we all have the understanding across several homes. Take for instance, I've driven to areas of Plano. It's a nice, affluent neighborhood. You drive in and you see nothing but Indian people.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I noticed, every house had Indian people, but the kids just ran rampant. There was no, stay out. Dude, they were everywhere.
Yeah, that's how they are.
If I know every house is the same, I'm not tense about letting my kids just go. If every house is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning we all come from the same background, we all think the same, along the same lines, then I'm not tense about letting my kids go play over so-and-so house because I know so-and-so. I know what they believe. I know we're on the same wavelength. But how many of us are on that same wavelength?
We don't know each other like that.
That's what I'm saying. We don't. All right. So Trish says, I disagree, Selena. Today's youth see things differently. My children have witnessed a black president and see the world through different lenses. Look at what kids, all children within the last 10 years. My thing is, Trish, it's almost as if they're trying to erase him out of history.
Oh boy.
To where he'll only be a foot.
Mm-hmm. Look what we got. Look what we did for y'all.
The current president is already tried to undo everything that he did.
Yes.
And it's a
but he wouldn't put his picture up as well.
Right. He wouldn't put his picture up. Would not put his picture up. So it's as if that battle is happening. It's happening quietly. But if we don't wake up to it, then our kids miss it. And we shouldn't leave it up to the schools to teach our kids and put the value into them. We should be doing that at home. But as America, as at large, the Black contribution to this country needs to be stated. The truth about American history needs to be stated. And I think people thinking that they can't handle it. The kids handle way more than that already.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And one thing I noticed, Trish, I got along with white people when I was in high school, when I was at elementary school. I got along with them. We would sit, we talk, we have fun, all this kind of stuff. But when life happened, when we had to get out and actually compete in the economic world, that's when the walls started coming up. That's when I go back to a reunion and you feel the tension. When you didn't feel that when we graduated from high school, but now you go back and you can feel the tension in the room. You can feel the division, and it's all because now that I have to make a life. I'm not under mama and daddy's care anymore. Now I have to pay attention to certain things, and they start what you reach back for things that people talk to you, and like, oh, they were telling the truth or whatever. But now that life is happening, those walls are going up.
To your point, I was having a conversation with my brother, my younger brother, and he was telling me that some things were happening like that in school, where he would do and post these kind of numbers, and the next week, the white parent would come up and say, "Man, well, you had a great game," and the next week his son would be in that spot that he was in. Because the parent controlled what was going on and put his white son in that spot to make sure that he was getting all that my brother should have been getting.
Wow.
Yeah. He says so, and he says it's funny because he said he didn't pay attention to it at the time, but now that he's older, he understands now what happened and what was going on. Because the son went to a big school and did well, and but that was supposed to be him.
Hey man, to your point, when you get older and you get more aware, you look back at things that happen in school.
Oh yeah, you do.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they straight finessed us, boy. They finessed us real.
Dude, because our minds are not on that when we're in school. For the most part, I was having a good time. I'm having fun. I'm not really even thinking about I'm not even thinking about that part of my life. Because I'm thinking that part of my life will take care of itself. That's what my thought was.
That's the importance of parents showing up, because parents know. But if they're not present, listen, my wife teaches at a school. I happened to be there one afternoon when they were starting up the PTA meeting. No Black people in it. And she teaches in a low-income neighborhood. No Black people there. All Hispanics. All Hispanics in there. And it's like, we don't even show up for our kids. So
and they can't. They don't even
what they need.
They don't even speak the language, most of them, and they're at the PTA meeting.
Brother, they will have the kids there translating for them. PTA meetings, parent teachers conference, and my wife tells me the kid is controlling the information, but they give it to them exactly like the teacher said. If the teacher says, your child has been acting a plum fool in class, the child will translate it just like that to the parent. They don't color it up to make themselves, take the sting off. She said they put it, but we don't have that participation out of our people to where we don't show up like we need to.
So would you say that Trish is correct when she said we need to save ourselves? Because if we start doing a better job at some of the parenting things and some things that we're supposed to do, then perhaps it will set a precedent for making things better for our kids and our kids' kids and that kind of thing.
Yeah, we've gotten in this thing of waiting for somebody to save us, and so let me say, everybody talks about we need Jesus. We need Jesus. We don't need Jesus. We need more people to be like him. The Bible talks about us being imitators of Christ. Listen, Jesus did what he came to do. He did what he came to do. The rest is up to us. So to Trish's point, when it comes to save ourselves, there is a responsibility that we have to make sure we get the right information, to make sure we act on the information that we get, to make sure that we prepare the next generation for everything that they need to understand, to put the value in them now the way we need. And Jesus not going to come down and take care of that for us. He came down and did what he had to do. He said the rest is on y'all. So we can run the church 24/7, but if we don't ever get the understanding that it's not the actual Jesus we need, it's us to be more like him. We need the attitude of Jesus Christ. We need the mindset of Jesus. We don't need him. He already did everything he needed to do. It's time for us to do the rest.
Well, and I think we also kind of fall short for lack of knowledge. I think you know, with the internet, the great thing about the internet, as well as the worst thing about the internet, is knowledge is endless. Mm-hmm. Anything you want to know, anything you want to learn, see, if you want to speak languages, all of it is available to you at the palm of your hand. Mm-hmm. But we have to start using that kind of stuff for good and not evil. Our black community should be a lot more informed about what's going on because it's at the touch of their fingers. Mm-hmm. Our black community should be a lot more knowledgeable about who's doing what and who came up with this and who invented it. But because we're not programmed to look for that, we're programmed to find anything. My kids can find ways to beat video games. They can find anything else. But when it comes to studying, I need some help studying. No, you don't. You need to reprogram, recondition your mind to look for things that's going to be beneficial to you in your future. As black people, and I don't want to say all of us, but some of us, the internet, we have all this information and we're not using it for good. We're using it trying to take over the world. When that'll come later, that's coming later. But for right now, we're not getting the information out of this thing like we should be getting.
So needless to say, there's a lot of work to be done.
Absolutely.
The black community does need to get to a place of self-sufficiency. I do believe that. But it's going to be a fight to just be able to do that. Because we not only have to overcome racism, but we got to overcome our own insecurities and distrust each other and the whole nine. We got to overcome all of that to make things move forward.
And think about this. If we come up with our own banking system, we come up with our own banks, we come up with our own communities to where we can keep money in our community. And again, man, money, land, that stuff is powerful, man. That stuff is powerful. We got to get that. We got to get more into that where we can keep money in our communities, man, because then you have some power to make some changes if nowhere else in your community.
Yeah.
We got to get more of that, man. We got to take this thing by the horn and wrestle it down.
And rope it and everything tied up.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. And we can't wait for nobody else to do it. You are right on point when you say who's gonna have to do the saving. We are.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah. So put your cape on, people. Let's get to work. All right.
Hey, that's good, man. That's good, bro.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We appreciate everybody. Catch us every Monday, 7:00. Join us next week. We have a good one for you. All right. Catch y'all next week.